Hello, hello, and welcome to the Cup, the Currently Unnamed Podcast. Well, you can always come here first to quench your reality thirst, and where we put the tea in reality. Her. I am your girl, Lana, the resident diva, here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I loves me some tea. Her. And I usually say I'm only drinking water, but I'm not drinking water today. I am drinking a fruit punch, berry punch type deal because, why not?
Undetermined berry punch.
Really, it's okay, I'm gonna be honest. It's Walmart Great Value Berry Punch.
As
Period.
it should be.
Oh,
You save that money.
It's delicious. It's just like Minute Maid, but cheaper. And it's delicious. So there. And I'm drinking it in my cup mug. And you know what to do. You know what to do if you and it made it sweeter. Drinking it out of this mug made it sweeter. So much delicious. And you know what to do. Hit that up, the merch link. It's just in the description below. LanaGCreations.etsy.com. Her.
and I am Aneesa Long, also known as Sam DMV, also known as Sam de Monteverde, your fellow friendly 5'3" trans non-binary Filipino Canadian mentally unstable hot mess hailing all the way from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Scarborough if you want to be specific. Whoa, Burn if you want to be more specific than that. I feel like that is the best I did that.
I would agree.
I agree.
And
I love that.
my lovely the cup mug. Again, you can get it in the description below. We also sell hats.
And shirts and pants are coming soon.
Super excited. I have some orange juice. President's Choice. I'm not sure if y'all have that in America, but
Yeah.
it's one of my favorite like brands in Canada. So
I bet it's sweeter coming out of that cup.
is the cup seasoning. Not just cup seasoning, the cup seasoning.
Can we make the cup seasoning?
Oh, now
I'm ready. I already know what it would be.
You go ahead and make it. I'll brand it.
Great, love it. And I'm Logan Murphy. I say something gay. Gay. I'm not drinking out of my cup mug because I don't have it yet. It's on the way. Lana told me at some point. I don't remember when you said it would ship.
Tuesday?
No, it'll go in production on Tuesday.
So I'll have it in like 2 weeks.
In a week or so. By the end of the week, maybe next Tuesday. Yeah.
Great. Well, I am drinking a strawberry caffeinated beverage out of a bottle for an organization I no longer work for. So they're not going to get my promo time.
Her.
But I like the bottle. It's a lovely bottle.
Oh, there's a merch link.
Oh, yes. Merch link below. Get your merch like I did, and I'm waiting patiently for it. But Survivor 44?
We're talking about Survivor today. Survivor 44.
Episode 8.
Episode 8. And, things have happened. People left. Jury started. People are crying. When we get to this episode, people are sad.
I was going to say, Sam, this is your first episode of Survivor with us this season, correct?
No, it's not. I was here for the premiere.
Oh, yeah! That is correct. Yep, I do remember that.
Premiere
there's so many podcasts that happen.
I feel like I was here for another episode as well. I don't remember which one.
It might have been one I wasn't here for, because I think it was one you, Jack, and you, Logan, did. Because I missed one.
I don't
remember. I don't know. But it doesn't matter.
I'm looking it up now because I'm curious, but
I think we're all here together again, and we're talking about people are sad, people are crying, things have happened, the jury started, and Matt's gone, and Franny's a mess. She's boo-hooing because Matt is her number one, her best friend in this game. Although she could have prevented him from going home if she would have just dropped the thing, but it's okay.
We talked about it last week.
We won't talk about it. We won't talk about it anymore. But she's very sad. And Jam feels very at the bottom at this tribe right now. He's like,
but he's still here.
But he's still here, and he's not going to hold it against anybody. I believe that. Like I believe I'm blonde. Because you always hold it against people when they vote against you. But Jam Jam said he's not going to do that. He's not going to do that. He's okay. He's going to be very Mr. Charismatic Jam Jam the rest, because he has got to integrate himself into this tribe better. That's what he said. He's going to be Mr. Charismatic.
What for me is so wild about this whole thing with Jam Jam coming back after Tribal is we get a moment where Heidi is talking to Jam Jam and like kind of explaining the move, and she's like, I wanted to do something that would burn the least amount of bridges. And she says those exact words. And if I'm Jam Jam, I'm like, okay, so you didn't care about burning my bridge. Okay, great. Good to know. And then Heidi turns around and she's like, so I think, I definitely think that the Sokas should definitely work with you, Caroline, and Carson moving forward. And I'm like, Heidi, you just voted this man out, and now you want him as a number? I'm liking Heidi. I just don't feel like she has any grasp on the strategic game, and we'll continue to talk about that throughout this episode, because I truly just, at this point, I do not believe she has any strategic prowess.
I don't know about that. I feel like she has a decent strategic prowess. I feel like kind of the social cues of it all seem off. It's the social part of it rather than the strategic.
I think it's a mix of both. I think she's very blunt and like so. I don't want to say aggressive. That's not the word, because I hate that word.
Forward.
She's very forward, very blunt when it comes to talking to people and talking about her plans. And I think that's just because of her real life. She's has to be the boss in, of situations. So she's used to being the boss of all things. So she's very forward boss, like upfront about things. And so when she's talking to like Jam Jam at the moment, talking about, I did what was going to make the least amount of waves or burn the least amount of bridges or whatever. I feel like in that moment, I was like, ooh, girl, socially, that was off. That wasn't. But I also feel like her socially, I get the social, I agree with that. But strategic wise, also,
social.
Yes, social. Social. But her strategic side also is questionable, because why would you, in the same conversation that you're telling somebody, hey, I voted you out because I didn't think it was going to burn, I was trying to burn the least amount of bridges and be okay, and then turn around in the same breath, not even waiting after a conversation and have another conversation with them later, like, I really want to work with you though. This is the thing. You don't turn around and say, I didn't think I was going to vote you out because of bridges, but I want to work with you. What?
Right.
What? Wait, what?
I mean,
because if I'm Jam Jam at that point, I'm like, sure, Jan. Sure.
Very.
I'm going to turn around and work with you now after you put my name down, because you didn't think it was going to burn bridges. But I'm still here. Our bridge is burned at this point.
I feel like a lot of this would be like super different if Lauren didn't have an extra vote, which has now become public knowledge.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that Jam Jam even was considering working with Heidi also says wonders for her social game. Also, in the same breath, when you're talking about social, because it's like, he was going to me, I would have been like, sure, Jan, and she would have been dead to me. Like, you're dead to me for this entire game. But the fact that he was still considering working with her was like, maybe she's more social than we thought.
So what I don't understand, upon reflection from like last week and like thinking about it, if Heidi is saying here to Jam Jam that she wanted to burn the least amount of bridges, we already know that the Ratus and the Sokas are kind of in, we see like this civil war sort of situation. If I'm Heidi, I want to keep Matt. My goal in my mind from what we saw of Heidi say is that I want to keep Matt and I want to gain Jam Jam as an ally, because she did say in the last episode, oh, maybe there's a chance that I can work with both of them and we can keep both of them safe. I don't think that would have necessarily happened given the fact that there was no communication on either side, because had there been communication, why... my point is, if you're already against the Ratus, why not take Lauren's vote and have her vote for Jamie or have her vote for Brandon? There are 2 other people that Lauren's vote could have gone on to.
Well, she couldn't vote for Brandon. Brandon was safe.
Then why not have Lauren vote for Jamie, or have Brandon vote for Lauren, or Brandon vote for Jamie, or Jamie vote for either of them? Like, you could have made it an internal Ratu vote, and instead you burned perhaps the most beneficial bridge that you could have had by having Lauren vote for Jam Jam. Mind you, at the end of this episode, it doesn't really matter. But I think if she had been thinking one step ahead, I think she's a very present player, and there's nothing wrong with being a present player. But in order to be a sole survivor, you kind of have to be thinking at least 1 or 2 moves ahead. Had she been thinking about that, maybe she would have instead used that vote to cause an internal Ratu vote. It wouldn't have changed the outcome, but Jam Jam would have still been here without a vote against him in that tribal from Heidi. And I think he maybe would have been a little bit more secure saying, yes, I'm going to work with you. Because now I just think, we'll talk about it, the Tika 3 is kind of just going to be this like swaying voting block between the 2 sides until ultimately they make the final 3.
I think I agree. I think that if she would have used the vote to start an internal Ratu battle, I think if she would have told Brandon, vote for Jamie or vote Lauren, Matt and Jam Jam would have taken that moment and voted for whoever she told them to vote for, and that would have saved both of them. Like, she should have done that, because
sorry, no, because I feel like also Lauren could be like, oh my gosh, someone in Ratu's gonna get a vote. She plays the extra vote, then it becomes a tie.
Oh.
And then we get to the revote, and it still be Matt.
3-2.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I didn't think about that.
And so I realized that Heidi fully knew that too. She fully knew that whoever she played it on, and whoever that person voted for, it was still going to result in Matt going home, because their best bet was like a 3-3 split.
Sure. You're true. You're right about that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But, right. Okay. Well, then, disregard everything I just said. Never mind.
Yeah, same.
Let's move along. As Aneesa just shut us all the way down until stop.
It's fine.
Stupid.
No, because I was watching this with you, and we were talking about it, and like Heidi had a confessional too. Like, she fully knew that it wasn't gonna change anything.
You're right. You are right. Okay. So then we get to the next day, and it was just a little chitter. No, it really is.
Before we get there, I want to talk about how Kane is saying he's not trying to get cocky. However, the last line before the commercial break going into the next day is, if a Ratu doesn't win this game, then we did something horribly wrong. And I'm like, okay, cool. Thank you, producers. Thank you, editors. A Ratu is going home. Which one is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I wish it had been Kane, but we'll talk about it.
I mean, but Kane was mad for the first. If anybody did not catch that, the producer.
Wait, Lana, did you actually catch it?
I did catch it. I saw it when it happened. I was like,
I didn't.
Matt. I was like, that is not Matt. That is Kane. But okay. But this just shows how irrelevant Kane is. Kane literally has nothing in this game. Nobody. Like, he's not winning. But his first confessional, Kane comes up. He's doing a confessional, and they have Matt's name and Matt's profession under Kane. And I was like, what is not Kane, Matt? But, and the editors apparently, and the producers, nobody caught it. Nobody caught it. They just
No
let
one
it
caught
go.
it. Twitter caught it.
Nobody
Twitter
cares
Who?
about Kane.
Who?
What? A who? A Kane? Nobody cares about a Kane.
Only my Survivor crush of the season.
It's not Kane. It cannot be Kane. Not Survivor Crush.
It's
It's
my-
Kane.
I don't know. It's so.
Aneesa.
Sam.
Aneesa.
I really enjoy the nerdiness.
Go to Carson. It's Kane. Ugh, no.
I'm gonna say, Robin's not here right now, but I will say, Carson with a little bit of a beard and a little bit of a tan, I said, you know what? I see it.
He's cute too.
For the first time this season, I see it.
He's cute too, but Kate, I still find Kate more attractive than Carson.
That's fine. Everybody to each his own. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry
So-
your crush is irrelevant in this season. He's
No, I do agree with that too, though.
he's very much irrelevant.
I don't know
But-
what he adds to the storyline.
He doesn't add much.
Canadianness. That's
Exactly.
it.
Like that's all he offers.
That's about it.
That's
And I guess
fine.
nerding out with Carson, which we
Right.
yet to see even that.
Oh, and then that one moment in the preseason where he's like, sword. I'm like, no.
Weird.
Please stop. And speaking
But-
of stop, will Carson ever stop throwing up?
We don't know. He
know.
puked 8 times. He puked
I-
8 times.
I really
I felt
said,
bad for
Carson, I don't need you to give a full play-by-play of the last 12 hours of your life at this immunity challenge, sir. I really don't need. I'm trying to eat lunch right now. I don't need you to be doing this.
I mean, bless you.
Bless
Um,
you. No, very well.
I don't know. I felt bad for the young lad, the strapping young boy. He's a child to me, so I'm gonna call him a young boy. But
For sure.
I felt bad for him. I mean, because I don't like seeing anybody sick. And so the fact that he was out there crawling over, puking his guts out, I felt bad. And then to find out he'd been doing it all through the night too. I was like, oh, whole thing. They're already not eating and drinking enough anyway. So to lose that, kind of bad. But everybody was. Oh, the tree mail. We haven't talked about the tree mail that came first.
Well, that's the next part.
Okay, the tree
No,
mail then.
Before we get to that, I remember
Mhm.
seeing someone tweeted like, "Oh, this is not the first time the token nerd of the season has been having gastrointestinal problems."
Mm-hmm.
If you remember from Survivor Cambodia, Second Chances, Mr. Steven Fishback
Oh,
yeah. was having gastrointestinal problems.
I do remember that now.
I mean, I'm surprised more people don't have gastrointestinal problems out there.
They
because-
probably do, and we just don't see it.
yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause nobody really wants to have a whole season where people are talking about gas and their internal problems. I don't want to talk about that the whole time. One episode is enough for me.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so we get the tree mail also. Jamie finds tree mail and they read it and they have to pair off into groups of 2s
Yes.
for this next immunity challenge. They don't know if they're going against each other or they're teaming with each other. They just know that they have to pair in 2s. And everybody's trying to decide who is going to pair off with who's going to pick up sickly Carson because he's so sick. Who's going to pick him up? And
I love
Mama
that-
Carolyn says, I'll do it.
I love
Of
her.
course I'll do it. No
I'll do
problem.
it. I'll carry
do
him on
it.
my back.
Well.
Well, Julie.
Well, Julie.
Carrying on the back, she did not do, but
No. No. Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. She didn't. But what's
So, yeah, so our teams end up being Brandon and Kane, Heidi and Jamie, Jam Jam and Franny, Danny and Lauren, and Carson and Carolyn.
I laughed my head off when it ended up being Danny and Lauren. When
Same.
Danny was the one trying to get Lauren out so much last week and was willing and ready to do it again this week. I was like, this man is about to get on my entire last nerve. But okay, sure, go off, whatever. But then he ends up with Lauren. And Lauren was like, I mean, I know I'm going to be the weaker person, so I'll let you all decide who ends up with me. It's fine. It's whatever.
Foreshadowing. Again.
Foreshadowing indeed.
Truly, this episode,
indeed.
exceptional foreshadowing.
Absolutely.
Editors, y'all did the damn thing this episode.
I will say that I feel like I could say the same with last episode too.
I think so, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, starting with, how are you?
How are you?
I'm so happy that they are
Yeah.
so perfectly happy together still as a couple. I am over seeing Matt just giant grin whenever Franny does anything at Tribal. I'm like, no, stop.
Matt, breathe. Franny,
Okay.
breathe. Matt.
Matt, get okay, right. Franny swooshes her hair, Matt. I'm like, Matt, seriously.
Matt,
Calm
get
down.
your jaw up off the floor.
Off the floor, like seriously. Y'all know how I feel. I don't care for Survivor showmances. It's just not my zhuzh. But whatever. I'm happy for them if they're together and happy together.
My
That's
winner
great.
pick is still in the game among the two of them, and I'm gonna root for her.
It's fine. I kind of want her to look. I kind of want her to go so they can sit and
Me
jury together,
too.
just to be like,
Me
because
too.
I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the back and
Yes.
forth.
And then next thing you know, the next tribal, you're gonna see them holding hands.
Right, which is fine.
Ooh.
I will be okay if they're in jury together and they're holding hands, and that's great. I just want them to be together because I'm sick of the back and the forth with the cameras and Matt just cheesing like Franny does anything. Franny breathes and Matt is like, oh, she breathes. Oh, so beautiful, so lovely. Okay, moving.
Ugh.
No,
Anyway,
moving
from gross
I love
relationship
them, though.
stuff.
Look,
Yeah.
wait. Just for the record, Matt, Franny, I do love you. I
Yes.
do.
Yes.
I love you individually. It was just sickening to watch.
I
on
am
TV.
so happy that they are still together.
Me too. I am very
That
happy.
I love.
I
But
love that for them. But on this moment, y'all was just the goof.
editors, y'all don't need to cut to him every single time.
every single time.
And I get that he was the only juror
Only
at this
one,
time.
right.
I
And-
understand.
Yeah. And I also get that Franny's name was on the line.
Right.
Sure.
She had a moment. It was great.
Sure.
Let's just hope we don't get this every week. That's
Yeah.
all I'm saying.
And let's hope we don't get this kind of challenge every week, because oh boy. So
Okay, yes, it's been a challenge, Logan, because it was a lot.
this is very similar to a challenge we had last season on Survivor 43, where it is a 3-part challenge. The first part being the claustrophobic net of death, as I'm calling it. The second part being you have to take the planks that you dug out of the ground in part 1 and then cross a rope bridge under with a net under, and then the first 2 teams to get across there qualified for the final round, which was then an individual competition. Last season, it was the holding on to the thing for as long as you can.
Oh,
This season, it's the stand up in a frame for as long as you can.
Which are eating these very horrible, very painful pigs.
Yes. This and last season both providing iconic moments in the claustrophobic net of death in very different ways. Last season, obviously Noelle's moment. She had her moment and then got voted out. And this season, the screams of Carolyn. Carson, because he has no voice, he's been throwing up 8 times. He goes, "You're doing great, Carolyn."
He's like, I think they're using the ropes to twist.
Huh? What?
Oh!
You got just spin, Carolyn. Spin.
And I just, I felt so bad because Carolyn finally made it through and Carson was like about to attempt it. And then Heidi and Jamie finished.
I said,
I was just
Carson
like,
got
oh
in the mud
no.
for nothing. He got in that mud for nothing.
Truly. Like,
Ugh.
But then Jeff, like when Carolyn finally goes out, he goes, "That's
That's
what a
a
survivor
survivor.
looks like." I'm like,
That's a
Jeff,
survivor. I was like, Jeff, stop. Jeff, stop.
Jeff.
Really, let it go.
Ever since this new era of Survivor,
Ugh.
Jeff's been doing the most. The absolute most.
Well, I mean, I can understand it, seeing as how when COVID hit, they didn't know whether they would be able to produce the show. So
Right.
I get it. And I understand it. It's just like, Jeff, stop having fever dreams and then turning them into Survivor twists and challenges, please.
Yes.
Yes.
But yes, so to nobody's surprise whatsoever, after the screams of Carolyn, Carolyn and Carson are knocked out of the first part of the challenge. The other 4 teams go into the second part of the challenge, where it is pretty clear from the start that Brandon and Kane and Danny and Lauren are going to qualify. Like, Jam Jam and Franny did fine. Heidi and Jamie did fine. But it was really a 2-horse race across the end. So we have Brandon, Kane, Danny, and Lauren in the final part in the frames. And for the most part, they all did a pretty good job.
Good job. Yes.
This is where everything got very unpredictable. Like the other parts of the challenge, everybody was like, "Oh yeah, we see what's happening. Oh yeah, we see what's happening." This one, not so much, because they were hanging on that wall and they were all solid, like really solid for the first 2 rounds, I would say.
Yeah.
They were really solid. And then they got down to that 3rd pick, and then Kane fell first. I wasn't that surprised by Kane. I didn't think Kane was gonna win it, but I wasn't surprised that he fell.
I will say, in this moment, covered in mud with his little man bun, I was like, wait a minute, Kane. I see it, Sam.
I called it.
A little bit. Just a little bit.
Not you checking for Sam's man right now.
Anyway.
It's all right. Okay.
So Kane drops. And then I love, so Kane drops. And then I love that Jeff is like, you're going through it. The pain is hitting. Someone's just going to drop out of nowhere. And then out of nowhere, Brandon drops. And I was like, oh. I was surprised he did as well as he did, honestly, because people with bigger frames do not do well in this challenge.
No, because I was thinking, I said, if Franny gets to the end of this, she's winning.
Franny wins.
Because her feet are smaller and she has less weight. Any woman getting to the end, I thought would have had a better chance because their feet are smaller. But I didn't think Lauren, because of arm strength and backs, you know, standing up that long, I didn't think she would last that long because she has shown that she is the weakest in the competitions.
I think if this was a straight up immunity, just the frame part, I think Jamie wins in a landslide.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Oh, yeah.
She's a yogi. Like she has that, like, not only physical strength, but the mental capability to just block everything else out. I want to see Jamie do an endurance comp because I really honestly do think Jamie would slay.
We did see her during the balancing comp, right?
Yes, that was more upper body than it was anything else, and she didn't do great, but she didn't do bad.
Right.
I think give Jamie the pole.
Oh yeah, she would last. I think she would do well right now. I agree with that. But yeah, I think Jamie would slay. But then it comes down to Danny and Lauren, and they move them down to the final peg.
The unbeknownst to Lauren, rivals, because Lauren is not targeting Danny at all.
Until Carolyn was like, "Look at this, Carolyn." Danny was going for Lauren. And I was like, Lauren had no idea Danny was going for her.
I also just love that mid-challenge during the showdown, we just see Carolyn gets up and is scratching herself. She's like,
Itchy.
oh, itchy.
That's going to go down with one of my other favorite moments of the modern era, just random moments, where Lydia on 43, I think.
Both of you bitches go.
Both of you bitches go! I love that moment.
You know what moment I didn't love? Because I felt like somebody was trying to make a moment and it just was not a moment.
Danny.
Hey, Jeff. Fart. How old are you, sir? You're 12.
30, I think.
No, he's 12. Because the fart joke, we're really gonna do the fart thing like a little boy would do. That's what children would do. Hey, mom, check this out. Brr. Like, that's not funny at 30 years old, sir. You're disgusting and juvenile. Like,
I don't know
gross.
why that became a big thing as well, because I remember Danny tweeted after that, being like, "Oh yeah, I can't believe I might have like sharded on national TV."
Right.
You want to know why he's making it a moment? Because he's a white man.
Yeah.
Because mediocrity reigns supreme. I guess.
Well,
All you have to do is the bare minimum to, like, who cares? I found that so disgusting and gross and juvenile. I was like, you can't even make a good moment, a fun moment. Like,
Jeff, you could tell Jeff looked uncomfortable when that
Jeff
happened.
was like, all right, perfect timing.
I'm glad I'm not up there.
Anyway,
Like-
who cares about him? Because it comes down to him and Lauren, and he drops, which means Lauren wins immunity. I told y'all she would start winning comps. What did I say?
When did you say
I said it
that?
last week. I
I don't remember.
I said Lauren could start winning some comps.
I remember. I mean, I never doubted that Lauren was going to win comps. I just didn't think it was going to be this comp because I was like, absolutely. I didn't know. I didn't think it. But baby, I was so proud when she did. And the fact that it was against Danny, who was trying to go for her and was willing to go for her again. I'm like, no. You will not go for that queen. You will not get to take her out. So you know what Danny decides to do?
Storm off.
Well,
yeah,
he's mad. He's mad. Well, I'm sorry, you're mad, but
He
because
storms
he can't,
off like a child because he
Like-
lost.
yeah. Like
I mean,
even I remember seeing like Jam Jam coming up to him, trying to be like, "Oh, yo, you did great," kind of thing. You know, he's like,
No.
"Nah."
I'm like, you mad because you lost, or you mad because you lost to Lauren?
It's giving. Ooh.
It's giving a lot of it's giving a lot of isms to me. I said this about Danny.
No,
I wasn't gonna say
I
it.
remember there was someone from season 29 who was like, "Oh, remove the friend part. Just focus on the part that I lost to a girl."
Oh,
Do you remember
No, because I couldn't tell you what season 29 was.
Natalie Anderson?
Thank you for reminding me of that iconic moment from Queen Natalie Anderson. I do remember now.
Oh yes, that fight. Yes.
I don't remember the early seasons by number.
Okay, well,
That's just me. But
that was my first season, so
work.
yeah.
Where Natalie or John gets mad. Was it John?
John gets. So it was like they did this whole like loved ones challenge, where it's like they win reward for the tribe, and it was John and Julie. Julie wins the challenge. John's kind of pissed about it, and he's like, "Oh." Jeff's like, "Oh, how do you feel losing to your girlfriend?" And John was like, "Remove the friend part. Just focus that I'm losing to a girl." And I was like, "Hello? Absolutely not." I mean, he was third booth, so I was like, "Okay, that's fine." With an idol in his pocket, that felt great.
He deserved.
He
He
deserved.
deserved.
He deserved.
But
Anyways,
yeah,
back to 44.
yeah, he was very upset. Like I said, I don't know if it was because he lost or because he lost to Lauren, but he was mad. And I said it last week. I said I didn't want to say it. I was gonna think it, but I wasn't gonna say it. And after this week, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it because I really believe. Because even though he wasn't the one who brought Brandon's name up first, he was very, very happy to push the name Brandon. He was very happy to do it. He couldn't vote for Lauren because Lauren pulled out the immunity, so couldn't vote for Lauren. So of course, the obvious choice in his mind and Heidi's mind was Brandon. Because Ratu was going for Franny. Ratu was going for Franny. Ratu said it should be Franny. That's what it should be. And Soka was saying Brandon. Now, Soka. I have a problem with Soka and their choices. Because Soka's choices always seem to go to the person of color in any tribe. Like, every time they put out a name between Heidi and Danny, it's always the person of color. First, it was Josh. Josh had to go. Even though they didn't want Matt to go, Matt had to go. Then it was Lauren. We need to put out Lauren. Lauren should go. Now it's Brandon. I'm like, Heidi girl, you do realize, and then it was Jim Jam. Jim too. Because Jim Jam should go. Because I'm like, Heidi girl, you do know you're a person of color too, right? Because as soon as it comes down to it, if he decides he will, but okay.
Yep.
Just putting that out there.
Mm-hmm.
Because it might not be, it could be very unconscious. It could be a very unconscious bias that he's having and that they're having and that they're sharing. But it's just very odd to me that, oh, what? Oh, no. Let's not forget Claire was the first name that they decided to put. Let's not forget Claire was the first name that they decided to put up and want to put out. Then it was Josh. Then it was Lauren. Then it was Brandon. All the black people on in this entire game had their name put out by the same group of people. So I'm gonna say it. I wasn't go. I said I wasn't gonna say it last week because I wasn't for sure. I was just gonna think it. But now I'm saying it. It's some biases going on. It could be unconscious, and they might not even realize it's happening. But you need to think about what you're doing and think about the choices because these things were not game related. Claire, you put Claire out because Claire didn't prove herself, but y'all was never letting her play. Y'all told her to sit out. Every week y'all told her to sit out, and then, well, she ain't proved herself, so we got to put her out. Interesting. She damned if she do, she damned if she don't. She don't play because y'all tell her not to. And if she did want to play, y'all told her not to. So, so she got to go. Then we get Josh has to go because Josh is playing too good. Wait, first Claire wasn't playing enough, and Josh is playing too good. Interesting. Don't know what the balance is between that, but okay. Now Lauren has to go because Lauren has the extra vote. I don't know if y'all knew this, but Lauren had the extra vote. Lauren has
what?
Yeah, Lauren has the extra vote. I don't know if y'all know that because I'm sure they didn't say it, but Lauren has the extra vote. So she got to go.
I'm truly surprised and shocked by this information.
I know, right? I know. I feel like I just broke breaking news right now because
I feel blindsided. I feel very attacked right now.
I should. You should, because I didn't know they didn't say it enough for anybody to really pick it up, but you really had to pay attention to pick that up.
Yeah.
And yesterday was 420, so people wrote.
Damn right it was.
Oh, and don't
So,
forget that Joy's a pilot.
yeah. So yeah, but then Lauren has to go, and now Lauren can't go because she's immune. Purr. Brandon is too strong, but Danny is sitting right there just as strong. Danny outlasted Brandon in the challenge, but Brandon is too strong.
Well, I mean, the person that was targeting Brandon was Danny. I'm not saying you're wrong.
But who's targeting?
I'm just saying, why would the other Sokas target Danny? If they're
I
aligned with
understand.
him.
I mean, but if I understand, but if
Mhm.
your reason is he's too strong,
You're not wrong at all. That's strength that allegedly is keeping them safe, but it's an individual game, so who cares? Everything you said is right. I'm just saying, like, yeah.
Yeah, understood. But yeah, it's the individual game from this point on. But we're gonna get rid of him because he's too strong. But this cat right here outlasted him in the challenge. But it's okay. It's okay. We're gonna go for Brandon. And we're gonna make a plan to make sure it happens. Which I'm not mad at the plan, because the plan was genius. Genius.
It was.
Go ahead.
Because I think I know where you're going with this. The people that were in on this plan and love her to death. Carolyn, Carson, Franny, Danny,
Heidi, Jam.
and Jam.
Everybody but Ratu was in on the plan.
Yeah.
And this is but even with the plan, they didn't trust Tika fully with the plan because they didn't know if Tika was going to vote with them or not, because they could, at this point, Tika could go either way they want to go in this matter. They can go to Soku's side and vote out Brandon, or they could say, we're going to go and vote out Franny. They didn't know. This is my problem. Carson talked way too much for me. I just, even though I picked him to be my winner pick, he talks way too much. Now, it could be benefiting him, maybe, but it's going to only benefit him for so long, because after a while, people will catch on that he know all the information, that he always got the tea. Like, Carson always comes with the tea. And like, this is what's happening. I'm just saying. Eventually, they go catch on that you always got the tea. And if you always got the tea, we need to get you out, because you know you and everybody's business. And he's just talking way too much for me. I think that's the flaw in his game. Even though it hadn't come to fruition just yet, I believe it possibly could. And I hope he adjusts that and be like, he needs to not be in all the know. He needs to just sometimes let the no come to him. Even if he know the no, even if he got the tea and know the tea, sometimes you just don't have to say it and just let the tea come to you and be like, oh, okay, yeah. I'll do whatever y'all want to do. So they think they can always pull him in his pocket.
Yeah, I feel like it's almost like a milder and more kind of smarter version of like Sammy's gameplay, where it's like Sammy went right off the gate. Carson is a lot more like slower with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why I said I picked him to be my winner, because I thought he would be a way better player than Sammy. Sammy was just too eager and too loud and too abrasive, and he just didn't sit in the cut like he needed to. Because Sammy was already a big guy, he already seemed like a physical threat. Already, just looking at him, he seemed like he would be a physical threat. Carson doesn't have that, because people are like, oh, he's small, he's little, but Sammy should have sat back in the cut a little bit. Show your intelligence, but you don't always have to talk about everything and say everything. Carson also talks too much, and so I hope he kind of like brings it back and just sit in the cut a little bit and let the tea, because he's in a great spot. They're in a great spot. He does not have to be the one making the plans. You already put yourself in the position where you don't have to make the plans. You can just go along with the plans for a while. Eventually, when it get down to like 4 or 5 people, 6 people even, then you start making some plans and start making the moves and doing what you're doing. And it'll still have the same effect because people will realize this man came from the original Tika tribe, went to Ratu, and positioned himself perfectly in Ratu. They were not even considering getting rid of him if they ever would have tried, but he was never a consideration.
Nope.
He perfectly situated himself in Ratu. Then, when the tribes come back together and everybody's together, Soka wants him. Ratu wants him. And he's still perfectly positioned in the middle. And still, people see him as a smart guy, not a smart threat. He's a smart guy, just not a smart threat. And so he still has a place to be in that very perfect spot to sit at the end and have a great story.
Yeah.
He just don't want to blow it up too quickly by always knowing the tea and letting people come to him and them realizing he knows too much.
I think him giving out a little bit of the tea in this episode, I think was actually really smart to do because so Danny tells his Soka members, "Hey, I have an idol. So even if Tika votes against us, I'm going to use my idol and Franny. We'll be fine because we know that their plan is to vote Franny." So Heidi goes and tells Carson and Jam Jam about Danny's idol, not only the plan, but also Danny's idol. I think what Carson did here that was very smart and what Jam Jam didn't do that I think might affect Jam Jam further down the line when it comes to trusting the Sokas, Carson goes right back to Danny and says, "Hey, Heidi told me this." Because not only is he building his trust with Danny, he's also creating now a wedge between the Sokas, which I think is incredibly smart because then they're either going to target the Rachus or they're going to target each other. They're not going to target specifically him, but also Jam Jam and Carolyn. Those are not people that they're going to target immediately.
I agree with that. I think him telling that put that sense of doubt in Danny about Heidi. Like, why would you tell him that? Why would you tell them that? Not even just him, them.
I think it's one of the smartest. I think it's one of the smartest moves we've seen in the game thus far. If I'm being honest, like I think it was a great move on his part.
And it also gave Tika the chance to say, "We don't have to vote together. We need to be able to swing back and forth between both throughout this, as we call it, civil war between Ratu and Soka. That we're going to be, we can vote each side. We can keep both sides happy. Like we did the plan." We did your plan. All 3 of them can say they did both tribes' plan. Carson and Jam Jam went one plan. Carolyn went another plan. It's just they all did what both tribes wanted them to do. Just So I don't know. I think it was a smart move. I do think. I just hope he calms it down a little bit and don't always have all the tea all the time. Because I don't want him to get caught up. But they're playing so perfectly right now.
Yeah. I want to go back to that conversation as well where Heidi leaks that information to Jam Jam and Carson as like of trust. Jam Jam's confessional immediately, like almost immediately after that, maybe with another confessional in between that. I don't know. But I don't remember. But I remember him being like, "Oh, with this, I could easily go to Ratu and tell them Danny has an idol. Or that Heidi told me Danny has an idol."
Either way, I think it would have been smart. Even if he did that, him telling Ratu that is the same thing as Carson telling Danny that Heidi just told him he had an idol and tell us, what the plan is. It would have built trust with Jam Jam and Ratu to be like, "This is what's happening. This is what's going on. We voting Franny. Y'all might want to put your votes on Danny." I would have loved that. Like I would have been gooped and gagged if that would have happened.
Right.
But Jam Jam didn't say anything because he didn't say anything, which I feel like he should have. He should have went to Ratu, let Carson go to Soka, build those wedges in between Danny and Heidi, have Ratu trusting the Tika 3 or whatever, and still did. It would have just been would have been such
But
good TV.
I feel like
But
even with that, I feel like it's gonna be easy for kind of Sokka and Ratu to clock that now they know everything. Now they're in the middle.
mm,
Yeah.
Why don't
possibly
we band together and vote them out?
I just think there's too many divisions already between Ratu and the original Ratus and the original Sokas that I personally don't see that happening.
Right.
Just because, like, you see, like Danny is just going to continue to target Lauren after this episode. Like, those sides are going to be so back and forth.
Yep.
And I feel like they're not going to want to come together. They're instead going to want to like swing the Tikas to their direction. And I don't see those two factions coming together to vote out Tikas. I don't think that would happen.
I mean, it could go either way.
It's always a possibility. It's always an option there, especially given their challenge performance.
Yeah.
But I feel like, say, at a certain point in the game, maybe like 2 episodes after this, and the Tika 3 are still there. I feel like they'll be, say it's like, oh, it's down to 3-3-2. And now it's like, with Tika still having their 3. And I feel like the other tribe that has 3 can easily get with the tribe that has 2 and be like, oh, Tika's been in the middle this entire time. We don't know where their true loyalties are.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I would agree. We'll see what happens, but
we will.
We go to tribal. Not a whole lot of important things are said, if I'm being honest.
Everything just felt very kind of clear cut and very kind of everyone just stuck with what they were gonna do.
Yeah.
And then obviously the half of the footage being switching between Matt and Franny.
Oh God, I'm over it personally, but that's just me. So we go to the vote. The votes have been made. Jeff asks for an idol, and we saw a little bit of back and forth after Carson had told Danny about Heidi telling him about the idol. He was like, well, maybe I should use it on myself. Are they going to swap and then vote me out? But he sticks to the plan, plays his idol on Franny, and 6 votes for Franny come out of the urn. And so with 4 votes, Brandon is voted out of the game. I think looking beyond the Danny of it all and the trajectory of his targeting, which we've discussed at length here today, yes. I think if you put that aside, I think this is a really smart move on the Sokas.
Absolutely.
Brandon is a huge threat. He's great in competitions. We've seen him consistently do well in the 3 competitions post tribal immunity era. We saw him come up very big for his team during the Mergatory Challenge, and he won the last immunity challenge. So I think, and he did very well in this one. So I think beyond the racial aspect of it all, I think this was a very smart move for them to make. I'm sad though, because I like Brandon, but yeah.
I mean, okay. Let me just put this like this. I know what I said, and I stand by what I said. This vote wasn't racial.
No. I'm not saying it wasn't.
It wasn't racially motivated. It was strictly game, and it was smart. It was smart because Brandon could win a lot of immunity challenges and win his way through this game, which is possible. I just don't like that everybody that they always want to target seem to be of my persuasion. Okay.
Absolutely.
It bothers me, but it's okay because it's still a game.
I mean,
it's nothing like that issue that thing with Drea. It wasn't anything like that with Drea with Rock and Rock. It wasn't that, because I felt that moment was kind of like, okay, that was, I get it, heavy, strong. That it wasn't anything like that. This was the reason to get Brandon out was smart. I just don't like the fact that it had to be Brandon. It couldn't be Jamie. It couldn't be anybody else. It had
I
to be
agree.
Brandon or Lauren. That was the only two options for them.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm. I'm kind of excited for next episode though with this preview. Carolyn,
Mother.
Queen.
I will also say we are at final 9, and it is an even 3-3-3 split.
Mhm.
yes.
So
I am very much on the way of, I feel like I like Carolyn. I mean, I already stand her. My card is laminated. My
mhm.
stand card is laminated, is framed, is put on the wall. Carolyn can do no wrong for me. But I love that her targets, she got out Brandon. She voted for Brandon to go.
She did,
Mhm.
yes.
And now she wants to go after Danny. And it just takes me back to that journey that Brandon and Danny sat right there in front of Carolyn and blatantly ignored her.
Yep.
Blatantly talking about a bros finals and all
Yep.
this other thing, and who they were going to bring into this alliance when they merged, and was disregarding Carolyn like she was not even there. And everybody they mentioned, Carolyn has gotten them out. Josh, now Brandon, and hopefully, I'm hopeful that Danny with no idol, because that man, and he out there looking and searching. I hope he don't find it. Oh, I pray to
I hope
God.
Carolyn finds it, and then she has 2 idols.
Oh,
Queen.
Queen.
Whoa, I was gonna say something, I forgot. Shit.
Well,
Well, okay. No, cause wait,
Oh no.
listen, it's 11. It's almost 12.
you're
It's
fine.
almost midnight.
Oh,
Oh,
not that.
Oh, I threw something. It fell. And hit
We'll
something.
just end it. Oh,
yes,
go.
yes. Okay. So I feel like there's probably going to be something in editing. I wouldn't be surprised if Danny goes home after the move he just made, because I noticed a lot of that's kind of a storyline I noticed a lot in past seasons where it's like, oh, they make a move, okay, but they're voted out next episode.
Yeah.
I mean, because it feels like you have too much power and control if you can just make this move happen like that. You have to go next,
Absolutely.
especially if you don't win immunity. You have to go next, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope it happens, because honestly, that man could go, and I
Yep.
would not be mad. And then if they just want to, even though I said Carson was my runner pick, if the women just wanted to vote out all the men, that'd be fine with me, and just have women running this tribe and women winning this game. I would be okay with that too. But I want Danny to go, and then Kane can follow right after him. That'd be great.
Then
And then I think
Carson.
Jam and Carson, they can switch. I don't care. Flip
Because
flop.
then that
Either
would be
way.
what? That would be Franny, Lauren, Jamie, Heidi, and Carolyn.
Yeah.
I love.
I'm not mad at that at all.
We also have a female majority right now.
We do.
When is
But
the last time we could say that there was a female majority on a U.S. Survivor season?
29.
I don't think that was the last time. I hope not.
Oh, wait. Maybe Korong?
42?
42.
I'm trying to think. I don't remember. Yeah, don't get me started.
Regardless.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just know that it could happen, even though I feel like the deterrent from that happening will be Heidi, unfortunately, because I just don't trust her. to actually want to stick with the women. I just don't. But that's just me. But either way, I just feel like it's going to be great. This season is turned out to be way better than I thought it was going to be. But bless you again.
Thank you.
Um, you're welcome. Um, yeah, it's I mean, I'm sad to see Brandon go, but it was a smart move to let him go at this point.
Yeah.
Not mad at the gameplay. It was very smart. Um, other than that, I can't wait till next week.
Same.
Me too.
So
All right, well, y'all know what to do. Follow the things, hit the buttons, like, share, subscribe, follow. Follow us on Twitter at @thecup_reality so you can know when all of our videos will be dropping. And then if you just want to, well,
more social medias coming soon.
coming soon. Period.
Very soon.
Be on the lookout for that. And if you just want to follow some very cool people, you see what the Lady J, Leader Logan, DeMonte. Follow us on Twitter. Sometimes we talk about good stuff. Sometimes we don't know. Whatever. And then, of course, as you see Sam drinking from his cup mug, and I have mine, do that. Please go to the link below. Logan's is coming soon. That says coming soon. Period. Um, but get your all your cup merch at lanagcreations.etsy.com. And that's it, folks. We'll see you all next week. Cheers, you all.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye now.
Bye-bye. Bye. Bye.